Welcome back to another Q&A episode of Chamberlain Court. Let's get started. Nitsa Gamer asks, is there a game franchise that you never played but you wish to try out? Contra is definitely one of those. I do regret that I never really got to play Banjo-Tooie, although I did play Banjo-Kazooie when I was a kid. Those are really the only two that I can think of off the top of my head. WWE Anime Fan Z asks, do you like anime cross-dressing? Yes, so long as it's not fat guys in Sailor Moon outfits, I'm cool with it, especially at conventions. Matthew361 asks, what are your thoughts on stupid Pokemon friends being cancelled due to the friendship between Austin and Richie? What friendship? They had a falling out around the time that I quit, and Austin ended the show because he feared that they would try and smear his name, simply because Austin refused to air it on the Richalverse channel. At first it looked promising, and I was going to review it once it concluded, but either way, I'm like, so be it. Nitsa94 asks, what live-action TV shows do you like? I did mention last time that I enjoy Pawn Stars on the History Channel. I also like Hatfields and McCoys, Third Rock from the Sun, Malcolm in the Middle, That 70s Show, Bar Rescue, Flipmen, World's Worst Tenants. I mentioned I like Power Rangers when I was a kid, Planet Earth, World War II in HD, The Muppet Show, National Geographic, Monty Python, Dinosaurs. I definitely like Chappelle's Show, Mad TV, and Saturday Night Live. The list goes on. AR Studs asks, what is the most annoying thing about RMA fans? The ones that kiss Richie's ass on everything he does, good or bad, especially bad, thinking it's going to get them something in return. Timmy is Depressing asks, what is the most inspiring anime that you've ever watched? Dragon Ball Z made a big impact on me when I was a kid because this was the first animated show that had a continuing story, and it still holds a special place in my heart. GothGirl11638 asks, who do you think is the most annoying or stupid anime character created? Like an unnecessary character that's just there to annoy you. There are two characters like that. One is Potato from Air. God, I fucking hate that dog. And he wouldn't be so bad if he didn't say anything at all other than actual dog sounds like Ein from Cowboy Bebop. But instead, his saying Pico, the amount of times he says it in the show, is so goddamn annoying, it makes Pokemon say damn. If I was Yukito in that show, I'd wipe out that dog and make it look like an accident, and feed it to the crow. And the other is Reina from Usagi Drop. Good God, that little girl is so loud and obnoxious. I never liked those type of kids even when I was a kid. When I was a kid, especially at the age of 6, I was a lot more like Rin. Sweet, soft-spoken, sensitive, and grew up with some old school tastes. In short, Rin brings out the kind, nurturing man in me, whereas Reina brings out the sick bastard in me. 8363MTR asks, what inspired you to make some top 11 countdowns in the past, like top 11 anime monsters or top 11 anime villains? Also, we'll be making one soon. The genesis of the countdowns began from watching a lot of Nostalgia Critics, plus he's one of my comedic influences, and I wanted to do my take on that, but with anime. And I will do top 11 lists soon, because I'm considering removing the first 4 or 5 and reboot them with new selections on Blip.tv. Plus, all would not be lost, considering I did Anime Analysis Month on my first 11 countdowns, so those selections are still there. Alexander Arcade asks, I have 3 questions. 1. What's your favorite Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z saga? 2. What's your favorite anime original soundtrack? And 3. What's your favorite non-Disney animated film? Okay, for 1, the Android/Cell Saga. For 2, I do like the soundtracks to the original Fullmetal Alchemist and Cowboy Bebop. And for 3, my favorite non-Disney animated film is Don Bluth's 1989 film, All Dogs Go to Heaven. I'll talk more about why I love that movie so much in a later video, but for now I'll just say, I love that it gives you a strong emotional response and has you emotionally attached to a German Shepherd mutt, a dachshund, and a little girl that resembles Snow White. That's a sign of good storytelling.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, don't pick me up, please. Put me down.
I am the S-Man asks, since you're a fan of Disney, what do you think of Epic Mickey? I love the idea. I mean, sure, I've never played the game other than at Best Buy, but at first it sounds like a bad idea, but then again, some people at first thought the same about Kingdom Hearts series. But I love that it dug deep into Disney history and shed some light on some underrated and forgotten characters such as Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. So that's gotta count for something. Bemis100 asks, if you could make any actor or actress, even one that's passed away, who would it be and why? For actor, Charlie Chaplin. Chaplin's one of my inspirations because he grew up dirt poor and in 1914 he became a movie star as the Little Tramp. He's also an actor I really identify with and notice some similarities. Chaplin was born in 1889. I was born in 1989. Chaplin's last name is an English last name, so is mine. Charlie was a younger brother of two, so am I. We have the same philosophy on movies. By that I mean I too view them as an outlet for sadness. And for actress, I'd love to meet Olivia de Havilland. Now, I did a video special on her for her 96th birthday. I loved her in Gone with the Wind. I admire her view on life and accomplishments. Like Chaplin, she too is one of my inspirations. The artist Various asks, since you're a fan of Usagi Drop, I have two questions. 1. If Usagi Drop receives an English dub, which company would you like to be the one who dubs it? And 2. Which English voice actors do you think would be best suited for the leads, Rin and Daikichi? Funimation would be my preferred choice to dub Usagi Drop. Viz Media would be a fine runner-up. As for voice actors that I'd pick for Rin and Daikichi, that's a really good question.
Is a puzzlement.
I've thought about this ever since I first read the manga back in 2010. For Daikichi, the candidates I'd select and let them narrow it down to would be Johnny Young Bosch, Sonny Strait, David Rasner, and Nick Bakay. The one person I always felt would have fit Daikichi, but sadly died 22 years ago, was Jim Henson.
Well, thanks anyway, but I'm really pretty happy where I am.
Oh, if I were you, I would give this audition very careful consideration. You've got talent, kid. Singing, telling jokes. I mean, if you get your tongue fixed, who knows? You can make millions of people happy.
Millions of people happy.
As for Rin, if this was back in 2004, Kate Bristol, who voiced Kisa in Fruits Basket, would have been a perfect choice for her. But according to her IMDb, she's been in less than 10 shows and or video games, so I don't know what she sounds like now. When she did Fruits Basket, she was 6 years old, which is Rin's age. But by now, Bristol's roughly 15, so I don't know if her voice could fit the role for Rin today. But my main criteria, if I was in charge of its dub, in this case, would be to have a real little girl with a sweet voice. Toko Fool asks, what I think is your best and worst video you ever made? My best video, I think, was Olivia de Havilland's 96th birthday special. I did it on July 1st. Because it was to the point, I had the right amount of footage and images needed, plus I liked the choices I made with the music. Most of which were from SpongeBob SquarePants, but it fit perfectly. And if you type her name in the YouTube search, that video is at the top of the search result, and nobody else did what I did for that day. My worst video's gotta be my first video, which was a Bleach AMV to Seether's song, I think it was called Fuck It or something like that. I later did an audio swap to that, for obvious reasons. I didn't even make that video. My friend got a hold of it and said, here's something for you to upload to your YouTube. Plus it's very forgettable, so that's why I consider it my worst. Square Evan asks, have you heard from Dane Kevin Cook recently? Yes, and boy, he let himself go. Red Gohan 147 asks, who is your favorite video game villain? Probably Sephiroth. R3 Director asks, who do you play as when playing a Super Smash Bros. Game? Normally I play as Yoshi or Kirby. Yoshi's Final Smash I like because I always like to joke and say, oh hell yeah, Yoshi will destroy you like he did Sodom and Gomorrah, biatch! Jared Mobile asks, are there any upcoming films set for release this year that you were looking forward to seeing? Yes, I really look forward to seeing The Hobbit. I first read The Hobbit when I was 15, I enjoyed it, and when I saw the trailer to it, and saw Ian McKellen as Gandalf and Peter Jackson's name to it, I was like, oh hell yes! I have waited a long time for this moment. Tim Rob 12 asks, are there characters that were planned to be in Season 5 of Super Mario Bros. That didn't make it? If yes, who? There are a few to my knowledge, and a lot of which I tried to jump at the chance of playing them. Captain Falcon was slated for Season 5. I wanted to play that character, but they said someone by the name of Alex was going to play him, blah blah blah. Then I remember when I played Red Dead Redemption, I wanted to play John Marston, and Chris said, oh, Richie's going to play him, and he and I were fighting for it, but ultimately he won, blah blah blah. And my thought was, Richie's too short to play that badass. He doesn't even look like John Marston. So with that said, thank God he wasn't included in Season 5. Now, another character I tried to jump at the chance of playing was Bill Reiser from Contra. I actually contacted Lawrence Genovese, creator of Super Mario Contra Brothers, and asked him to give me a summary of Bill Reiser's character and etc. I even asked for his blessing to do the same voice as Philip Genovese's for Bill. Let me play a clip to show you what I mean by that.
Fist bomb. Well, lesson we just learned today, thanks to these two morons, as you can see. If it is too good to be true, it is. If you happen to walk through the forest and see a bunch of power-ups, it's most likely a trap. The only safe ones are the ones you shoot from a blimp. If you see it and you kill it, it's safe. That's the lesson you should learn.
This has been yet another Bill Reiser's Commando information.
And Lawrence gave me his blessing for that. I told Richie about it, and he said, "Oh wow," but never even considered him, which sucked, because he and Solid Snake could have had a rivalry and so forth. You could have gotten a lot of material out of that. Hinaruto14 asks, what is your favorite high school-based anime? Fruits Basket. Jack Frost asks, what anime power would you like to have from any anime other than the big three, Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach, and Dragon Ball? I would love to have either Yusuke's Spirit Gun or Kuwabara's Spirit Sword. LPN64 Games asks, is the Bowser's Kingdom series you're doing a history of the Newgrounds one? What is your favorite place to eat, restaurant, fast food, etc.? And do you like the direction WikiRichi is going in? For one, yes, I believe it is the Newgrounds show. My favorite place to eat went out of business. And in answer to the third question, hell no. I've seen a couple of WikiRichis, and my thought is, and he wonders why I unsubscribed to him months ago. He's a blatant ripoff of JonTron, and we're not talking like a borrowed joke or two, pretty much down to the editing he's blatantly ripped off of. His Final Fantasy XIII review on Machinima is a blatant ripoff of JonTron's Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts review. On top of that, I find them very annoying. It's like, Richie, you're 25 years old. You're too young to call yourself old, or for that matter, to have a midlife crisis, for God's sakes. Zanderbrow asks, what are your top 10 YouTube shows? I'm not entirely sure right now. I do like Dragon Ball Z Abridged by Team 4-Star, Sonic for Hire, Animation Look Back by Animat, and that's pretty much all I can think of in just one sitting. JV Otaku asks, will you ever do a top 11 worst or best dubs in anime? Probably not. Ronan Smiley asks, which Roy Mustang line do you like better? I love dogs or tiny mini skirts? I love dogs! Because, for real, I love dogs. And I love Travis's delivery on that line. Seshi Fluff 143 asks, if you were in an anime or manga, what would your character be like? Looks, personality, human, or other, etc. I'd probably be like a cross between Kyo from Fruits Basket and Sokka from Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's the best thing I could probably think of.
Go to your room!
Poliot Films asks, if you could be in any anime or manga, what show/book would you be in and why? If I could, I'd love to be in the Dragon Ball Z universe because they're all kinds of fun to have, flying, kicking ass, and using energy attacks, especially if you utilize them in a fighting style. Meowth900 asks, do you prefer animes to have the manga storyline or to have their own stories different from the manga? That really depends. To me, it all boils down to which tells a better story. Take, for example, the original Fullmetal Alchemist. While it took liberties and departures at times, I honestly felt it told the better story because it kept the themes of Fullmetal Alchemist, which are another way of honoring the story, and it maintained the importance of the Elric brothers without too many distractions. And sometimes I do like anime shows that stick to the root manga, but at the same time incorporate things that weren't explored or shown in the manga. A good example of that would be Usagi Drop. Volume 3 of the manga ends with Daikichi asking Rin what kind of a cake she'd like for her 7th birthday. Rin says, oh, I don't know, chocolate maybe. But the manga skipped over that. So when I saw this AMV of Usagi Drop and saw Rin celebrating her birthday, I'm like, thank God! Plus the anime did have a little Christmas special too. With that said, I'm glad the show took advantage of that because when you're a kid, birthdays and Christmases really mean a lot. To J Playhouse asks, have you ever heard of the band Green Day? Yes. Creative Story Artist 2 asks, if you could travel to any historical site, where would it be and why? Probably Normandy, France, because D-Day was the largest invasion in history and involved 150,000 Allied troops, 11,000 aircraft of all types, 6,000 naval ships, and it was the battle that was the beginning of the end of the Nazi war machine.
You will bring about the destruction of the German war machine. The elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe. and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well trained, well equipped, and battle hardened. He will fight savagely.
And to go to a historic place like that, surveying the landscapes, visualizing the archive footage, and hearing Eisenhower's D-Day speech playing in your head would be fascinating. Plus, my Chamberlain grandfather fought in World War II in Europe as an MP, so he would have either fought at Normandy or landed at Normandy to get to the front lines, be it France, Belgium, Luxembourg, or even Germany for that matter. Red Rose 8674 asks, what animes have you seen with Vic Mignogna voicing a character? Both Fullmetal Alchemist shows, of course, Yu Yu Hakusho, Air, D and Angel. I finally saw one of the DBZ Brawly movies, and Bleach. Zeodis Films asks, have you ever seen the show Chobits? Yes. Mr. Jax Reed asks, have you ever read Flowers in the Attic? It's a famous novel about incest children. No, although today I did see the 1987 movie based on that book. Senin Sun asks, thoughts on the Mario Blues Brothers? I've seen your comments on the videos. Watch part 5 before you judge. I'm having mixed thoughts about them and wanted your opinion. I haven't gotten to that part yet, and I gotta get started with the review on Bowser's Kingdom, but I like it for what it is so far. And last question, Female Toshiro asks, would you do a top 11 anime trolls video? No, not likely. So folks, that was Chamberlain Court episode 5. Thanks for all your questions. Until next time.